On Thursday Night Football, the Falcons beat the Carolina Panthers 25-17. And something weird happened as I looked at my notes from this game. I don't exactly know why, but it's weird that as I looked through my notes, most of the things I had to say were about the Carolina Panthers. And part of it is that I guess I genuinely find the Carolina Panthers a lot more interesting than the Falcons. You know, Carolina's rebuilding. The Falcons fired their head coach. Their season appears to be over. One team is building, and I think the process of building a team is interesting. Where the Falcons they fired their coach, so they're at the end of whatever cycle they're on. They're going to need to hire a new guy. They'll be building next year. So I'm just not interested in the Falcons very much. And I will say this, for Falcons fans who want to hear about their team, here's what I have to say about the Falcons so far in this game. First of all, good win by them. Awesome, interesting. But what I want to say is I was 100% right about Todd Gurley. You remember the Rams released Todd Gurley, their running back. And I said that was a good move because they were overpaying Todd Gurley. He's had knee problems. He's not quite the same as he once was for a little flash in his career. But then I also said the Rams have to release Todd Gurley. They're paying him more than he deserves, and that's a bad deal for them. They got to get out of it. But I also said somebody's going to pick up Todd Gurley, and he's going to do well because Todd Gurley, in my opinion, still had something left in the tank. And right now, he's proving me very, very much right, where the dude has 8 touchdowns in 8 games so far this year. Now, he's a game ahead of everybody, so that the stats are skewed, but Todd Gurley's right now the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL. Now, the rest of the league will play week 8 and catch up to him, and probably a lot of people will pass him. But still, people that were like, Todd Gurley's washed up and terrible, they were totally wrong. Todd Gurley is catching the ball well. He's got 8 touchdowns. He is running well, making some good cuts. He's not like some superstar player, but he's got some solid football left in him. And so I'm happy to say that Todd Gurley was a good signing by the Falcons. It's working out. They got the running back they needed. He has helped them a little bit. And other than the mistake he made against the Lions last week, Todd Gurley's been a great signing for the Falcons. Now the Panthers, every chance I get, I try to talk about, because I know that not everybody hears everything I say. You know, people pick and choose, and some videos they watch, and some stuff they don't, and not everybody listens to the full podcast. I love everything the Carolina Panthers are doing. Their owner, David Tepper, is awesome. They hired this great coach, Matt Rule, a young guy who's got great energy, who cares about his players, who cares about doing things the right way. And he's rebuilt he rebuilt Temple, he rebuilt Baylor. I have every confidence he's going to rebuild the Carolina Panthers. So far, I'm seeing a lot of progress, and they're playing good football. And then they got this awesome offensive coordinator, the guy who helped Joe Burrow at LSU do what he did and win a Heisman Trophy, Joe Brady. He's the offensive coordinator there. And I love what the Panthers have done so far. And they've also done a really good job finding value in free agency and even on their roster. This new coaching staff has looked around, analyzed the roster and said, how can we use what we have effectively? They brought in a guy named Mike Davis, who no one had ever heard of. He got cut by some team in the NFC North last year, either I think the Lions, but maybe it's the Bears. Well, as Christian McCaffrey got hurt, Mike Davis really stepped up. He's playing well. He's catching passes. He's breaking tackles. Mike Davis is awesome. This running back for the Carolina Panthers. He had a play where down to the red zone, got stuffed initially, kept fighting, turned his feet, got out of it, got like 12 yards, 17 yards in the rush, actually. Just fighting hard, running hard, lowering your shoulder. Curtis Samuel is the guy who's listed as a receiver for Carolina. And they line him up everywhere. Joe Brady really has understood. Curtis Samuel's very versatile. They line him up as a receiver. He had 4 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown receiving on a flea flicker on Thursday night. The Panthers also at times line him up in the backfield. Literally, he plays running back sometimes and will run inside between the tackles and run really hard like a running back. You go, that dude's a receiver? He looks like he runs exactly like a running back. It's baffling and really cool. And he had another 3 carries for 23 yards and a second touchdown on Thursday against the Falcons. So Curtis Samuel, versatile, a guy they like. They signed Robbie Anderson. They brought him in from the New York Jets. And Robbie Anderson is a speedy deep threat, a guy who is known for stretching the field, but I thought in New York wasn't really known for anything other than running vertically. And the Carolina Panthers have challenged him. They're expanding his route tree. They're using his speed to do other things beyond just running in a straight line. I like what they're doing there. They also have a good weapon, DJ Moore at receiver. He had a great catch at the end of this game. So I really like the direction that the Panthers are headed in. They have this young defense, a lot of rookies. That's kind of a problem for them as they're still learning how to play defense. But another problem the Panthers have is that their offensive line gives up way too much pressure inside. And their young defensive tackle, their first-round pick, Derek Brown, is still learning. He's growing. He has moments where he's dominant in the running game, where he just like stonewalls a guy, fights through a block, gets a sack, gets a tackle on the running game, gives great effort, but it's also moments where he gets pushed around and is still working on his technique. But I think overall, Derek Brown is a guy that they like. He's so far mostly positive, and he's in the process of figuring things out. And I love Thursday Night Football. I don't know that anybody watches Thursday Night Football. A lot of these games are bad. I remember the Dolphins and Jaguars. People are like, why is this a Thursday night game? And I think part of it is the NFL realizes that people are busy on Thursday night. They're not expecting to get gigantic ratings because not everybody's going to watch anyway. So they often put teams that are less popular. But what I like about it is it pushes a team like the Panthers or the Falcons into the national spotlight. They dominate the media for a Friday. And that's cool. They get more airtime on national shows than they normally would because of their spotlight national game. And there were two cool moments in this game that I'm going to remember for a while. Number one, it was Dante Jackson picking off Matt Ryan. He's playing injured. His toe is messed up for the Panthers. And he picked off Matt Ryan. I went, oh, Dante Jackson, fighting through an injury early on, was getting shredded by Julio Jones. Still, I thought was a net gain for this game. Unfortunately, they lost, and that sucked. But I thought Dante Jackson's interception was a big play for the Panthers. Also, the Panthers ran this fake field goal where it was 4th and 9 on their own 32-yard line. You're deep in your own territory. That's a gutsy call to go for it and run a fake punt, a direct snap to the up back in that position. They kind of recognize, hey, there's a weakness in the way the Falcons return punts. They're vulnerable here. There's nobody on the right side of their line. They got the direct snap, ran for like 28 yards down the right sideline. And what a gutsy call on a 4th and 9 on your own 32. It actually set up a field goal for the Panthers. That was great. Helped them get 3 points. So I loved that call. Now, we do have to talk about the Carolina Panthers quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. I really like Teddy Bridgewater, and I want to love him, but I don't. And I'll tell you why I don't in a second. First of all, he's a great story. He's a good dude. People love him. He's a great leader. Got hurt a few years ago. He tore his ACL and also dislocated his kneecap. It was horrific. He made a great comeback. It's cool. It's heartwarming. I love that. And I think Teddy makes really good decisions. He's actually been a good pairing with Joe Brady. He's got an average arm, but again, he's a good leader. People like him, and he does a lot of the little things right. Most of the time you go, he's a good quarterback. But here's Teddy's problem, and it's the difference between Teddy Bridgewater being a, fill the gap, duct tape quarterback, a short-term solution. And if Teddy can clean this up and fix this problem, he might become the long-term solution in Carolina at the quarterback spot. The Panthers are 3-5, and Carolina has lost 3 games where Teddy Bridgewater made a crucial mistake at the end. And, there was an interception against the Bears on the final drive for the Panthers. A linebacker undercut the ball. It was a bad read, a bad decision. Didn't like it. I'm like, that's the first sign of, Teddy, you're driving your team down the field to try to make this happen. And you didn't at the end of the game. Or in the Saints game last week, it's 3rd down, and Teddy Bridgewater took a really bad sack, lost 8 yards, holding onto the ball too long, and that pushed the field goal attempt that would have tied the game, back from, I think it was a 57-yard field goal. They lost 8 yards, so it was a 65-yard field goal. I know they lost 8 yards, so it must have been what would have been the math says what would have been a 57-yard field goal became a 65-yard field goal. And I only know 2 of the numbers there, but, 65 minus 8 is 57. So that losing 8 yards, they're holding onto the ball too long, taking a sack. That really hurt his team because the 65-yard field goal attempt was dead center down the middle, a great kick, and about a foot short. It literally, if it was a 63 or 64-yard field goal attempt, it would have been good. So Teddy cost his team an opportunity to tie the game there by taking a late sack. That's a second mistake of the year where I go, Teddy, it's the end of the game. You can't make that mistake if you want to be the long-term starting quarterback here in Carolina. And then in the Falcons game, they're down 8 points, but they had the ball. They got the ball 2 minutes and 58 seconds left. It was third down. And Teddy throws the ball into traffic, gets picked off, cost his team an opportunity to tie the game, to make a 2-point game. Then a 2-point conversion would have tied the game. So Teddy, I love Teddy Bridgewater. I like Teddy Bridgewater. I want to love him. But in 3 of the 5 losses for the Carolina Panthers this year, Teddy Bridgewater's made a crucial mistake at the end of a game. And he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. It seems like Teddy only makes mistakes at the end of a game, but it's hurting his team. And that is Teddy Bridgewater's problem right now. It's not, he's doing good stuff. He's making pretty good decisions. I really like his pre-snap reads. He's great at identifying matchups. Does a lot of stuff that I thought Joe Burrow did really well last year at LSU. The problem is Teddy has got an average arm, and he's also making really bad mistakes at the end of a game. And you can't have that if you want to be the long-term franchise quarterback, the long-term solution for a Carolina Panthers team that wants to win. They're working hard to make it happen, and they're doing a lot of stuff right. They got to get the quarterback right, and Teddy Bridgewater's got to clean things up, or else he's going to get replaced in Carolina.